In this video, we'll be seeing about the powerful software which is developed by MathWorks called as MATLAB. MATLAB, it is a short form for Matrix Laboratory. That is, MAT is matrix, lab is laboratory. So it is called as MATLAB. MATLAB, as I've told you that it is a powerful software tool which is developed by MathWorks, and it is used for numerical computation, data analysis, visualization, programming. So here it will perform complex calculations. It can interpret and draw insights from the data, and also it can create graphical representations of the data and develop custom scripts and functions. So MATLAB, these are the functions of the MATLAB. That is, it can perform numerical computation, that is matrix operations, mathematical functions, and many more. It can do the data analysis, for example, statistical analysis, data processing. Then it can do the visualization for us. That is, we can get here graphical representation in the form of 2D plots and 3D plots. And also, it is very good for programming, that is scripting and function development. So these are the components of the MATLAB, that is MATLAB interface components. Here, when we open our MATLAB software, we will get to know, or we'll see the workspace, command history, editor window, then current folder window, and the command window. So the command window, it will execute the command and it will display the results in the MATLAB. And the workspace, it will manage and display variables used in the MATLAB. In command history, you will get a record and it will recall the past commands. And the current folder, it will navigate and display the files which are used in the MATLAB directory. And the editor will write and save the MATLAB scripts and functions. So here, this is the window or the screen which you get when you open your MATLAB software. So here you will be having the menu bar. Okay, this is the toolbar. Here, if you want some help, then you can get the help about the commands which you are using. Then you will see the path for the directory on which you are working, that is the current working directory. Then you have workspace, that is, here you will get all the variable list which you are using in your program, or you have used in your program. Then you will get the command history, which all commands you have been using for your programming, and you can directly use the any commands from this without typing also, that is from the command history. Then you have the current directory contents here, and you have file details. You can select any file in order to view the details. Okay, and this is the command window. So here you type your commands. Now we will see some basic functions and operations of MATLAB. That is, we'll see some basic commands. In next videos or in the upcoming videos, you will be studying in detail. In this video, you will see only few commands. This is just for introduction. So here you have, first one is the addition, that is 2 plus 3. It adds two numbers. Okay, that is addition. Here you are using the plus operator, that is this one, addition operator. Okay, then you have division, 10 divided by 2, it is division. So here you are using this forward slash operator, forward slash, which is the division operator. Then you have SQRT16, that is the square root. Therefore, it will calculate the square root, and it uses this function SQRT. It is a function which is used to find out the square root. Then you have sine pi by 2, that is the sine function. So it will compute the sine using the sine function. Now you have a semicolon. Okay, you will be using the semicolon at the end of the command. When you use the semicolon, then it will suppress the output, and when you don't use the semicolon, then you will be able to see the output. So here a is equal to 5. We have put a colon, therefore it will store the value of a sorry, it will store the value 5 in the variable a and it will not display it. Fine. So here for these operations, we'll see a small video in this. When you open your MATLAB, you will get this screen where you will find current folder, editor window, command window. Then here you will see some details about the file, and this is the workspace where you will be getting all the variables along with the values and the size. And if you want to see the history about the commands which you have used, you have to click on this arrow mark, okay, and you will see the command history. That I will be showing you later how to see the command history. So now we'll see some basic operations, that is arithmetic operations like addition, division, and so finding some square root, finding the value of sine or cos, that we will see. So here suppose you have 2 plus 5. What is 2 plus 5? 2 plus 5 will be 7. Okay. So I'll run this. So 2 plus 5 is 7. Now as I have not put any semicolon here, it will display the value in the command window. That is the output of this. It will be displayed in the command window, and in the workspace you will be seeing the value, that is the answer what we are getting. Now I have not assigned any variable to the answer nor to the values which I have taken. Therefore the answer will be stored in the default variable, that is ANS answer. Okay, whenever you don't assign any variable to any value, at that time the default variable will be answer, that is ANS. Okay, now suppose I will put the semicolon here and I will run it. So the answer is not displayed, that is the output of this, it is not displayed in the command window, that we can see in the workspace, that is stored in the answer variable. Okay, now suppose next I have A. A is equal to 10 divided by 2. Okay, run it. So the answer, it is displayed in command window as I have not put any semicolon, and also it is stored in the variable A in the workspace. Earlier I have not assigned any variable to this sum, that is to find out the sum of 2 plus 5, but here for division I have assigned it to a variable A. Therefore you are getting a variable A with the output value which is assigned to it, and also the size of that. If I put semicolon, then the answer is not displayed in the command window. Okay, then we'll find out the square root. SQRT, this is a function which we use to find out the square root. Square root of 25. So square root of 25 is what? It is 5. Run. So you'll get 5. Okay, now here again I have not assigned any variable to this, therefore it is taking the default variable ANS. The answer is 5. Fine. Next we will see sine of pi by 2. Sine of pi by 2 is what? It is sine 90 is 1. So we should get the answer as 1 here. So you will get it as 1. Okay. Now I will assign some variable to this. Suppose B. B is equal to. So here in the command workspace you are getting B is equal to 1. So sine pi by 2 is 1. So this is about the like some of the basic operations. Later you will see many basic arithmetic operations. Just this is to make you understand here. So this is the command history. As we have not used any command till now, so here it is not showing. Next we will be seeing the command history also. So this was about the basic functions and operations. Now next is understanding the variables in MATLAB. Okay, so variables, here what we do is we create the variable and we assign some value to it. So here I have taken a variable x and the value assigned to it is 10. Then the next variable is name. For that the the value or the name which we have assigned it is MATLAB. Okay, and this MATLAB, it is a case sensitive. So here small a and capital A are different. Okay, both are not same. So you must be careful about that. Whenever you are writing any program or any commands, you should be very careful that where you have used the small case or where you have used the uppercase. And here you have one more command which is called as who. Okay, here when you use who command, you will get to know all the variables which we have used in the program. Okay, so here you can see this. Suppose I have a variable small a that is equal to, so small a is equal to 10. Okay, and I will give one more, name is equal to, I'll take my name itself, that is Feroza. Okay, now I'll save this and I will run it. You can see here in the command window, we are getting only name is equal to Feroza. Okay, we are not getting a is equal to 10, we are getting only name is equal to Feroza. And here in workspace, we are getting both the variables. First variable is a and one more variable is name. So a is assigned the value as 10 and name is Feroza. Okay, now why we are not getting this a is equal to 10 in the command window? The reason is, here we have given a semicolon for a is equal to 10 and here we have not given the semicolon. So the semicolon, it will suppress this in the command window. Okay, it will be reflected in the workspace, but this value, it will not be reflected in the command window. Now what I will do is, I will remove this semicolon and I'll save this. Now run it. So here you can see, now a is equal to 10 is being displayed in the command window along with name is equal to Feroza. Okay, so this is the difference of using semicolon and not using the semicolon. So if you use the semicolon, it will suppress that particular output in the command window, and if you if you don't use the semicolon, then that will be reflected in the command window, but you will get both the values of the variables or the values of the variables in the workspace. Now this MATLAB, it is a case sensitive. Meaning to say is, suppose here you have a is equal to 10. We are using small letter a. Now what I will do is, I will use capital A is equal to, I'll use some number 6. Okay, and I will use a is equal to small a. Small a is equal to, I will use 5. Okay, so what I should get? Small a is 10, already I have assigned it this value, and capital A is 6, again I am giving small a as 5. Which value I should get for small a? Or whether I will get small a is equal to 6. Here what happens is, we will save it and we'll see, we'll run it. You can see here, earlier the value of a was 10, now it has changed to 5 because this value has been overwritten by 5. Why? Because small a, it is now 5. Earlier it was 10, but now it is 5. Whereas capital A remains same, that is a is equal to 6. So the MATLAB is case sensitive. Here small a and capital A both are different. If small a and small a are same, whereas small a and capital A are different. Therefore MATLAB is case sensitive. Okay, and one more thing. You have a command called as who. Okay, WHO who. So now what we'll do, we'll run it. What happens, we'll see. This who command, it will display all the variables which you have used or which you are using, that are present in the workspace. How many variables you have used? 3 variables, a, capital A, and name. So it is displaying a and name. Now I'll change this who command. I want to know the variables which are starting from only the letter A. Okay, what I will do, who a, then star. Okay, so the semicolon here. Now save and run. So how many variables are starting from A? Small a, only one, that is A. Okay, suppose I will write one more variable, double A. Okay, double A is equal to 9, I'll write. So this variable, it will be added here. See, in the workspace, one more variable is being added. Now I will write once again the command who. I want to know how many commands are starting from the letter small a. So give a star here, write a star, then semicolon, save and run. So it will show two variables are starting from small a. This is how you will get to know how many variables are starting from that particular letter, or if you want to know how many variables are there, you can display here. Okay. So this was about understanding the variables in MATLAB. Next is the MATLAB matrix operations and element access. So here you can display a row vector, okay, a column vector, then you can create a matrix, and also you can access the elements from this row, column vectors, and also the matrix. So for row vector, this is what we write the command as: A is equal to 1 space 2 space 3. Similarly, B is equal to 1 semicolon 2 semicolon 3. Then for I have created here a 2 cross 2 matrix. So capital M is equal to 1 2. This will be the first row, semicolon, and this will be the second row. So this is the first element of the first row, second element of the first row. This is the first element of the second row, and second element of the second row. Now when you display the matrix, you want to access the elements, you want to know the elements. Okay, so here I have written, this is the row vector, okay, A. I want to know the second element, which is the second element. Okay, so A of 2, A of 2, it will return 2 because the second element is 2 here. The second element of this row vector is 2. Now here I have a 2 cross 2 matrix. So M, I'll write this M. I want to know which is the element in the second row and first column. Okay, this is the second row and first column element, that is 3. Therefore, it will return 3 when you write this command. So element in second row and first column. Here we'll see how to create a row vector, column vector, and a 2 cross 2 matrix or 3 cross 3 matrix. So I'll take A. A is equal to square bracket 1 space 2 space 3. Okay, close the bracket. Now next row will be for the column matrix. I'll take it as capital B is equal to, it will be 1 semicolon 2 semicolon 3. Now close the bracket. Then we'll take capital M is equal to 1 space 2 semicolon 3 space 4. Close the bracket. Okay. So this first one, the first row, it is for row that is the row vector. Second is for the column vector, and third is for this is we are creating a 2 cross 2 matrix. Here you can see I have not put any semicolons in between these numbers. So here you will get a row vector. Now here in the second row, you can see B is equal to 1 semicolon 2 semicolon 3. It means that this will create a column vector. That is, first in first row we'll get 1. When semicolon comes, it goes to the second row. Then comes to, then again we have semicolon. Next it will go to the third row. Okay, and here the third one, that is M is equal to 1 space 2 semicolon 3 space 4. So the first row will be 1 space 2 and the second row will be 3 space 4. So we'll run it. Now you can see here A is equal to 1, 2, 3. So this is a row vector. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Next B. B is the column vector. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So it is a column vector. Next you have M. M is what? M is a matrix we have created. That is a 2 cross 2 matrix. 2 rows, 2 columns. Okay. Now what I will do? I'll put a semicolon here. And I will take one more matrix. I'll show you to create 3 cross 3 matrix. Suppose I'll take it as N is equal to 1 space 2 space 3 semicolon. Then we have 4 space 5 space 6 semicolon, 7 space 8 space 9, close the bracket. Now we will run this. So you can see here a 3 cross 3 matrix is being created. Now we want to access the elements from these rows or vector. Suppose I want to know, I want to get this 2. 2 is what? 2 is in the second position. So I will type it as capital A, then round bracket 2. It means I want the second element. Okay. Then from B, I want again the, suppose I want the first row. Okay. So here I want the first element. I will write first element 1. Then next matrix M. Now this is a matrix. It is not a row vector. It is not a column vector. This is a matrix. So how we have to write it? Suppose I want to get 3 from this. How will write it? I have to write it as, it is in the second row, that is 2, and it is in the first column. Okay. Now we'll see whether we'll get the output or no. Run. So here, just a minute. Here for A of 2, we are getting it as 2. So the second element is 2. Okay. Then B of 1. So the first element is 1. Then here, so M of 1, 2, 3, 4. It means that this is a matrix. So the element in the second row and the first column. Okay. Second row, first column element is 3. This is how we have to access the elements from the vectors or the rows. Hope you have understood. We will see many more like programs on this. These are just the basic, like how you have to create a row vector, how you have to create a column vector and a matrix, and how you need to access the elements from these. So this was about the matrix operations and accessing the elements from the matrices. Next is MATLAB plotting. Okay, so here what happens is, suppose we have here x is equal to 0 is to 0.1 is to 10. Okay, now here we can plot the data very easily by using this command. Here what we do is we'll define the x-axis values. So it will create a range of x values from 0 to 10 with a step of 0.1. You can change this value and you can see the output what you get. Then next is y is equal to sine x. So here it will calculate y-axis, and that is for each of the x value it will compute the y value, okay, by using sine x. Then next we have x values, we have y values. Now we want to plot this. So for that you have to use plot function, plot of x comma y. So this is the command which we will be using. So plot the data, use the plot function to display the sine wave. Next we want to give some title to our plot. That is, we want to give some title to our graph. For that we have to use the function title, then opening round bracket f(s) sine wave. This will be our title. Sine wave will be our title to our graph. So close this and put a semicolon here. Then next is we want to label the x-axis and we want to label the y-axis. For labeling the x-axis, this is the function which we are using, that is xlabel. Xlabel. Then here in the round bracket, whatever name you want to give, you can give in between the this apostrophe s. Then y label, I want to give it as sin x. So this is how we get the x-axis, that is the range of the x-axis. Then we want to find out the value for each of the x-axis. Then we will plot the x and y values. Next, we want to give a title and we want to label the x and y axis. Okay. Here we'll create a range of values from 0 to 10 with a step of 0.1. So for that we'll take x is equal to 0 is to 0.1 is to 10. Okay, so here this will create what? This will create a range of values from 0 to 10 with a step of 0.1. Now next we will compute sine for each of the x value. So for that we will take y is equal to sine of x and put a semicolon here. Okay, so this will compute the sine of each x value to get the corresponding y values. Now we'll plot these x and y values. For that we will use the function or the command plot x comma y. Okay, so here it is plot x comma y, which is used to display the sine wave. Okay, so because we are using here sine, so this will display the sine wave. Now we want to give some title to our graph. So for that we will use the command title, that is title, SINE, sine wave. Okay, this is our title. Next, we want to label the x-axis. So what is x-axis? For that we'll be using the command xlabel, comma, that is apostrophe s, x, semicolon. Now we want to name the y-axis. For that we'll use y label. Okay, so bracket open, apostrophe s, sine of x. So complete this. Okay, now what we will do, we will save this and we will run it. So this is the window what you get here. Okay, so this is nothing but the sine value for each of the x value. Okay, here for each of the x value. So here our range is from 0 to 10. You can change these values and see. So the graph will be changing when you change this value. That is the step value. When you change here, this graph will be changing. So this is a sine wave, that is y is equal to sine of x. This is calculated for each of the x value. Here y value is calculated for each of the x value. Our title is what? Title is sine wave. X-axis, so x label is x here, and y-axis we have taken the label as sine of x. Okay, so this is how you create a plot. So next is MATLAB script and function execution. So here we are using the word script here. So scripts, these are the files with .m extension. Okay, so what is a script? Script is a file with .m extension, and always we'll be saving our MATLAB files with .m extension, and here it will be containing a sequence of commands. Then we'll create a script using the editor and we'll save it by some name. So here the name is my underscore script.m. You can use your name, you can give the program name. So but it should have this extension .m extension. Okay, then after that, suppose we want to define a function. Now we want to define a function to find the square of a number, and the function will name it as a square number. Okay, this is nothing but the function. Now what is a function? A function, it is nothing but it is the block of code that will take the input and it will return the output. Next, we'll define the function and we'll save that function with the function name. Okay, that file, script file, it is saved with the function name itself with the .m extension, and we'll write the function in that file. Then now we'll open our main file, and there we will call this function. Okay, we'll call this function that is for finding the square of a number. Okay, and here suppose I'll give here the number as 5. I want to find out the square of 5. Now when I execute this or run this, I will get the result as 25. Okay, so here the script, we are creating a script with .m extension. Then we are writing a function in another script, and we'll save that script with the function name, and then here save this as square number.m and call it using, okay, where we'll call in the main program. Okay, that is the main script. Result is equal to square number of 5. Here we'll see how to create a new file. Okay, in MATLAB, a file, it is called as a script. So now we have to open a new script. For that we have to click on this plus symbol. Okay, we have to go to this plus symbol and we have to click on this new. Okay, here new is there, and you have a down arrow mark here. Click on this and click on the script. So new script will be opened. That is, here new script is opened. Now I'll rename this. I will save it as save as. Okay, what I'll give the name? I'll give it as Feroza 1 I'll give. Okay, and always the files or the scripts in the MATLAB, these are saved with .m extension, save. So this is saved as Feroza1.m. Fine. Now here in this program I want to call a function. So for calling a function, I have to open one more script, and I'll write the function in that script, and that will be called in this particular script. Okay, that is, I'll call that function in this Feroza1 script. So for that I will open one more script here. Okay, here, and I will write, or I will define the function as function y is equal to square square, then number, okay, of x. So here how it is defined? Y is equal to x raised to 2, put a semicolon and end this. Okay, and save this as save as. So I'll save it as square number. Okay, we have given the function name as square number, no? So we have to save the file with the same name, that is square number. Save. So this is renamed as, file name is or the script name is renamed as square number.m. Okay. Now next, here we'll go to our main script, and we will call the function which we have written in this particular script, that is square number. Okay. Now result is equal to square. I have written the spelling wrong for number, but I have to type here the same. That is capital N I have written, then yum, umber. Okay. In bracket I have to write the value for x which was there in this particular function. Here x is there, no? So we have to write the value for x here, for which number we want to find out the square. Suppose I want to find out the square for 6. Now I'll run it. Okay, square of 6 is what? It is 36. Fine. And here it is stored in result variable because we have taken the variable as result here. So it is stored in 36. This is how we call the function. So these are some of the MATLAB commands. That is CLC. It will clear the command window. Then you have clear, which will remove all the variables from the workspace. Then you have close all, which will close all the figure windows which are open. Then you have help command, which will help documentation for a specified function. And then you have a doc command. Okay, that is a doc function where it will open the full documentation for a function. Suppose I have this program already written in the command editor window. Now I'll run this. Okay. When I run this, I will get here a window, a figure window. Okay. And I'm getting all the variables in the workspace, and I will be getting the output if I have any here in the command window. Fine. Now I want to type the next program. Okay, so suppose here I will type a is equal to 5 plus 3, okay, and b is equal to 6 plus 2 I will do, and I will run it. So here when I do this, what happens is I will get the answer for this, output for this in the command window along with the previous output also, previous program's output. Fine. I'm not getting only the output for this program, for the current program, whereas I'm getting the output for the previous program also in the command window, and I'm getting the variables which were used in the previous program in the workspace. Now, if I don't want the previous output and the previous variables which were used in the workspace of the previous program, for that what I have to do is always I have to start the program with what? CLC. CLC, what it will do is it will clear the command window. Then you have to use clear all. Okay, so clear all, it will remove all the variables from the workspace which were used in the previous program, and close all. Okay, close space all. Always you have to start your program with these three commands, that is CLC, then clear all, close all. Close all, what it will do? It will closes all the figure windows. If any figure window is open, that it will close. Now here, for example, we have one figure window opened here. I have not closed it. So how I have to close it? If you use the close all, you can directly close this. But if at all it is left open, then here if you start a program always with these three commands, then all the command window will be cleared. Then it will remove all the variables from the workspace, and also it will like close all the figure windows. Okay, so now we will run this. If you run this, you can see here the variables of the present program are present in the workspace, whereas the previous variables are disappeared here. And also in the command window, you are getting the output for only the current program, not for the previous one. Fine. And you have the one more command called as help. Okay, help, it will show the documentation. So here if you type help, run. Here it is showing no table of contents. Just a minute, I will type it as doc. I want to find out the documentation for the command plot. Now I'll run here. Here we are getting what? Here we are getting everything about the plot function or the plot command. Command it is. So here we'll get everything about this. All the description, what is the syntax, everything we'll get. All the documentation about the uh, command plot we will get here. That is the function plot we'll get here. Okay, these all. So here this is about the commands, that is clear, CLC, clear all, close all, and the dock. Fine. So these are some of the applications of MATLAB in engineering and science. So you can like perform image processing, where you can do the image enhancement, object detection. Then it is used in machine learning for developing the algorithm for pattern recognition. It can also be used in control system for designing a system and for the feedback control. Then it can also be used in signal processing for filtering and spectral analysis, and data analysis and visualization, where you can use this for statistical analysis and data visualization. And also it can be used for simulation and modeling, that is system simulation and mathematical modeling. So this was about the introduction to MATLAB. So this was a very brief introduction. You will be dealing with deep like operations, matrix operations, arithmetic operations, and many more programming in the further videos. Hope you have enjoyed the video. Thank you.